we have a fantastic guest for you today. Author Michel. The Red Chair Experience is his newest book. He is also the founder of CM Consulting. Hey, Chris, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing well, Heather. Thank you. How are you today?
I'm really glad to have you on here. I think this is going to be a fantastic conversation. We are going to begin by just asking you, what have I missed?
It's not about me anymore, right? It's trying to figure out how do we help other people. And I got that bug and just continued to run with it. And that was part of the reason for the book. And we'll talk about that later. But
Mhm.
that was really what came out of this whole thing was I'm tired of working for myself. I'm tired of being, and working for myself, meaning it's all about me. It's not about me. It's really about other people, right? And learning that was kind of a huge light bulb moment for me, if you will.
I wasn't planning on going down this way, but because you're bringing it up, that shift is what these humanity moments that I talk about
Right.
has everything to do with that. Was there something that happened, or was just a slow realization? Like, do you?
So I mean, I look at a lot of my career and when you start out in sales, a lot of people get into sales because it's all about me, because it's a way for us to shine and a way for us to be in the spotlight and do those kind of things, right? And I'm not saying everybody's like that, but a lot of people get into sales for that very reason. I got into sales because I didn't want to go into PR. I didn't want to go into human resources. I didn't want to be a speechwriter. I learned how to talk in college. I graduated with a degree in speech communications. And so this was, somebody mentioned this and I was like, well, sure, I would love to do that. And I just naturally jumped right into that opportunity. Well, what happened was I was pretty good at picking things up and then I could transfer that information, right? And the transference of information is huge, especially with people. It doesn't matter what your career path is, whether it's sales, whether marketing, human resources, doesn't matter. You get the opportunity to pick up on what other people share. And so there wasn't one particular thing, but what happened over time is I just saw this opportunity to share with others. And I kind of hit my stride. I mean, early on in my career, in my HVAC career, I became the number one salesperson. I did everything that I kind of wanted to do, but then there was it's like there was something just continuing missing. I was going through the motions, right? And I'm doing air quotes, right? But I was going through the motions, and I didn't realize it until that point where I was like, oh, this is just, ugh. It made me sick to my stomach, realizing that I kind of I'd lost that fire, that passion, that desire to go and do these things.
Right.
I think and I ask this of a lot of people, what can I do to contribute to what you're doing? And it really catches people off guard because they're like, what do you mean contribute? So we too often get caught up in this, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I say how can I help you, that means you have a problem. At
Uh,
least in my eyes, you have a problem and
yeah.
I can help you, right? I can
Oh,
I can give
yeah.
you answers. Instead, when I say how can I contribute, it's like, oh wow, wait a minute. Contribute. That's way different than helping me, right?
I love
Because there's not a problem, but what are his skill sets? What are his abilities? What are the things that he brings to the table? And so it really kind of shifts the mindset
it.
into thinking, how can I contribute? um and it's almost collaborative, right? It's
Yeah.
almost to the point where, oh wait a minute, he wants to contribute to what I'm doing. He doesn't want to help me per se.
Would you like to share something, a challenge, a fear, a difficult time that you learned a lesson from that you are really grateful for?
I got asked this a lot this weekend, and you and I briefly talked about this just a few minutes ago. So this weekend I got to go to a charity event that was being held in honor of my brother. My brother passed away 3 years ago, and we created this charity golf event because he was really passionate about two charities there in his local area and where he lived. And so we've created this golf outing in his honor. And so, reflecting on that, when asking the question, what is it that brought me from, that kind of stood out, that brought me from fear to fire? My brother's death, because it was a suicide and there was no note, there was no nothing, there was no closure, right? But there was no real way to kind of bring all this to a head. But that really gave me pause, right? And 3 years ago in my life, it was one of those where I kind of went, oh my, now what am I doing with my life? He passed away 6 months later. The pandemic started. I started writing a book. I started my own business 12 months later, right? I mean, boom, boom. There's just this domino effect, right, that happened. And it's been this amazing journey. And but that one thing that I'm grateful for was just this wake up call, right? This awareness to be able to say, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing with your life, right? What are you pursuing and how are you helping other people?
I know that it's going to have a lot of meaning and impact for people out there. Chris, thank you again and have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Heather. You too.
If you enjoyed this week's Humanity Moment, be sure to subscribe. You'll find the link below.